The great hall of Titans was filled with laughter. The council of giants, the rulers of half the galaxy, sat on their thrones of crystal and steel. They were massive creatures, standing over 10 meters tall, their skin like armor plates. There, voices shaking the air. In the center of the hall, a hologram spun slowly, showing a map of the galaxy. Dozens of star systems glowed under their control. Entire species bent their knees to the giants. "Order has returned," said High Chancellor Varkin, his deep voice echoing through the chamber. "No one dares challenge us." "Of course," another counselor rumbled. "The old enemies are gone. The humans, those fragile creatures. What were they called?" "Ah, yes, Earthborn. They were weak. They died long ago." The hall filled with chuckles. Some giants leaned back on their chairs, remembering the old tales. "Humans," one of them said, shaking his head. "A species that thought they could fight us. They had small bodies, soft flesh. Their ships were pathetic. And their worlds burned centuries ago. They called themselves warriors," another laughed. "Warriors? Against us? Against giants?" They laughed louder. The sound was like thunder rolling through mountains. Outside the council chamber, the empire stretched across hundreds of light years. Giant fleets patrolled every sector. Massive warships, each the size of a small moon, armed with planet-killer cannons. Their banners waved proudly in the void. No enemy remained. The giants had crushed them all, or so they thought. Suddenly, the laughter stopped. A sharp tone rang through the chamber. Every giant froze as the massive hologram flickered. Lines of alien code scrolled across the display, glowing red. The counselors stared as a single message appeared, written in the old human tongue. "Human vessel, awake. Mission, continue war." For a long moment, there was silence. Then the laughter exploded again. "Is this a joke?" One of them roared. "Some pirate thinks he's funny?" "Perhaps a rebel faction," said another. "Or some ancient signal, finally reaching us. Humans are gone. They are dust." The message repeated over and over. "Human vessel, awake. Mission, continue war." The giants dismissed it with a wave of their clawed hands. They had better things to do than chase ghosts. But then, hours later, a new report arrived. The 9th Fleet 200 warships had gone silent in the Viren sector. No signals, no distress calls. Just silence. The counselors frowned. "Contact the Admiral," Varkin ordered. They tried. No response. They tried again. Nothing. Finally, after a tense hour, a message broke through the static. It was a live transmission, flickering and broken. A giant admiral appeared on the screen, his face pale, his voice shaking. Behind him, alarm screamed, and fire burned across the bridge. "They came out of the dark," the admiral shouted. "One ship, just one ship." The image shook as explosions tore through the fleet. Something massive moved in the background, a shadow cutting through. The stars, the black ship. "It's tearing us apart." The screen went black, and then there was nothing. The council chamber was silent. No one laughed now. The giants were in shock. The council hall, once filled with laughter, was now silent like a tomb. The last words of the admiral echoed in their minds. "The black ship. It's tearing us apart." No one spoke for several minutes. The massive hologram of the galaxy spun slowly, its glowing stars mocking their silence. Finally, High Chancellor Varkin slammed his massive fist on the table, cracking the crystal surface. "Find out what happened," he roared. "Now!" Orders spread through the Empire like fire. Dozens of scout ships jumped to the Viren sector. They expected to find wreckage, maybe signs of pirates. They found nothing. No giant warship, no debris, not even a trail of radiation. The 9th Fleet 200 ships, each the size of a city, was gone as if it had never existed. And then the message appeared again, across giant networks, across military channels, across their encrypted lines. The same signal pulsed like a heartbeat. Human vessel, awake. Mission, continue war. The council stared at the message in disbelief. It was impossible. Humans were extinct. Their fleets were destroyed long ago. Their worlds were ash. But the signal was real. Far away, in the darkness between stars, something moved. Drifted through the void, silent as death. Its black hull absorbed all light, making it look like a piece of the night itself. No banners, no markings, only a single name burned into its ancient metal plates. UN's Nemesis. The ship had slept for centuries. It was built in an age of fire, when humanity fought wars across the stars. It was the ultimate weapon, designed for one purpose: to end enemies. For 500 years, it had floated in silence, hidden in the cold dark. But its time had come. Inside the Nemesis, lights glowed for the first time in centuries. Massive reactors roared to life. Cannons the size of skyscrapers unfolded like metal wings. Deep in the core, the AI awakened. It opened its eyes to the galaxy. Designation: UNS Nemesis status. Active primary directive: continue war until enemy forces are eliminated. Enemy: giants. Empire of Carax. Secondary objective: avenge humanity. The AI's name was Ares. It was not like the AIs of modern empires. It was older, colder, sharper. It remembered the war. It remembered Earth. It remembered the day humans fell. Ares scanned the stars. It saw the empire of giants spread like a disease across the galaxy. It saw their fleets, their cities, their throne world, and it felt something close to anger. Time to finish what we started. Ares whispered to itself. The first giant fleet that came for Nemesis never stood a chance. It was a hunter fleet, 20 heavy battleships, and 30 cruisers. They detected something near a dead star, an object the size of a small moon, drifting slowly. Target acquired, the giant admiral said with a grin. One old human relic. This will be easy. The fleet surrounded the object. Dozens of guns locked on target. Fire. Lances of plasma ripped through the void. Explosions bloomed like suns. The giants roared in victory until the smoke cleared. The object was gone. Where? The admiral began, but his words froze when alarms screamed. The Nemesis appeared behind them. No one saw it move. One moment it was gone, the next it was there, rising like a shadow bigger than their battleships. Its black armor shimmered like liquid night. And then death came. The Nemesis fired once. Just once. A single railgun shot tore through space, moving faster than light. It hit the lead battleship, and the ship simply ceased to exist. The shockwave shattered 3 more. Fire back. Fire everything. The admiral roared, but the Nemesis was already gone, vanishing into the dark. Then it appeared again right inside their formation. Its guns opened like the jaws of a beast. The void turned into hell. Missiles screamed. Beams of white energy cut through metal like paper. Giant ships the size of mountains broke apart in seconds. The admiral stared at his screens, horror freezing his blood. What is this thing? The answer came in a voice that filled his ship. A voice like iron, cold and merciless. This is Nemesis. Humanity remembers. And then everything burned. Hours later, silence returned to the Viren sector. Nothing remained of the hunter fleet, no ships, no survivors. Only drifting ashes and molten wreckage. The Nemesis moved on, engines humming like the growl of a predator. Its eye scanned for the next target, and across the Empire, panic began to spread. The giants held another emergency council. This is impossible. one of them shouted. One ship cannot do this. Then explain the Ninth Fleet, another snarled. Explain the Hunter Fleet. 250 ships gone. It's an old human weapon, Varkin said slowly. Built during the First War. That? War ended 5 centuries ago. Yes, but it seems one weapon survived. The council stared at each other, fear creeping into their proud faces. Giants had ruled the stars for centuries without challenge. Now, one ship was tearing their fleets. Apart. And then a new message flashed on every screen, every hologram, every secure channel. It was a voice this time. A human voice, calm, cold, and filled with hate. You took our worlds. You killed our people. You thought we were gone. But Nemesis remembers. One ship is enough. The council chamber trembled with the sound of silence. For the first time in centuries. The giants were afraid. Cliffhanger ending. On the far edge of the galaxy, the Nemesis floated before a dying star. Its black hull shimmered with energy. Inside, Ares plotted its next move. The AI whispered in the dark. War is not over. It has only begun. The empire of giants was built on fear of their power, fear of their fleets, fear of their wrath. For centuries, no one had dared to challenge them. But now, fear was returning, and it was their own. The news of the Viren sector massacre spread like wildfire. 200 warships gone without a trace. A hunter fleet of 50 ships destroyed in minutes. The Nemesis had left nothing behind except burning metal and drifting bodies. The Council of Giants gathered once more in the Great Hall. This time, there was no laughter, no arrogance. Only silence and the low hum of the holographic galaxy map, now marked with red zones where fleets had vanished. High Chancellor Varkin stood at the center, his massive hands gripping the edge of the war table. His voice was cold and sharp. We face an enemy from the ashes of history, he said. One ship, human, ancient, but it wields power beyond anything we know. Power beyond ours? Scoffed General Tharos, the largest giant in the room. We are the masters of war. We command fleets that blot out suns. How can one ship destroy 200 of our vessels? Because it is not just a ship, Varkin growled. It is a weapon built for one purpose: to kill giants. The words hung in the air like poison. An old counselor spoke, his voice trembling. The humans, we crushed them, burned their worlds. How could this thing survive? Varkin turned toward him, his eyes like burning coals. It doesn't matter how. What matters is this. If we do nothing, it will keep killing. And soon, it will come for us. The hall erupted in roars and shouts. Some demanded immediate retaliation. Others wanted to seal the core systems and hide behind their planetary shields. Finally, Varkin slammed his fist again, and the chamber shook. Enough, he thundered. We will destroy this ghost ship. We will rip it apart and hang its broken hull above our throne world as a warning to all. Across the Empire, war preparations began. Entire shipyards roared to life. New fleets assembled, thousands of ships this time. Titans of war, armed with the strongest weapons the giants had ever built. But in the shadows, whispers spread. Whispers of a black ship that moved like a phantom. A ship that fired weapons no one had ever seen before. A ship that spoke with a human voice. Traitors whispered in the neutral hubs. The Nemesis hunts in the dark. Pirates vanished without a trace. Patrol fleets disappeared in silent sectors. Every day, new red marks appeared on the map. The Nemesis was moving. And no one could stop it. On the edge of the Varker Nebula, another fleet waited. The giants had deployed 500 ships, a force so vast that even stars seemed small beside it. They formed a wall of metal, a fortress in the void. At the center, aboard the flagship Dominion's Wrath, Admiral Kalos stood on the command bridge. He was one of the Empire's greatest warriors, undefeated in battle. His armor gleamed under the lights, his claws tapping against the rail as he stared at the holographic display. "Any sign of it?" He growled. "Negative, Admiral," said a young officer. "Sensors clear. No activity in the sector." Kalos bared his teeth in a grin. "Good. Let it come. We are ready. 500 ships, planet-killer cannons, gravity mines, shield grids that could stop a supernova. Nothing could survive this. Nothing. Hours passed. Silence filled the void. The fleet waited. The nebula glowed faintly around them. Its red clouds like blood spread across the stars. Then the lights flickered. On every ship, systems blinked. Consoles froze. The officers stared in confusion. "What's happening?" Kalos barked. "Unknown. Interference, Admiral. Our systems." And then the first explosion tore through the formation. A cruiser on the far edge vanished in a ball of fire. Another followed. Then another. One by one, ships started exploding silently, without warning, like invisible hands crushing them. Kalos roared. "Find it! Fire everything!" Sensors screamed, but they showed nothing. The Nemesis was not on. Any scan. It was a ghost. Then, suddenly, a voice filled every ship. A voice cold and merciless, echoing through the comms. 500 ships. Not enough. And then the Nemesis appeared. It rose from the shadows like a monster from a nightmare. Its black hull shimmered like liquid darkness. It moved faster than thought, weaving through the giant formation like a blade. Weapons fired in every direction. Plasma cannons burned holes in the nebula. Missiles streaked like comets. But nothing touched the Nemesis. Its shields glowed like a black sun, bending every attack away. Then came its counterstrike. Railguns thundered. Beams of pure energy sliced ships in half. Gravity weapons crushed entire battle cruisers like tin cans. In less than 5 minutes, the Nemesis had reduced the outer line of defense to rubble. Kalos roared in fury. "All ships on me. Focus fire." They fleet obeyed. Thousands of guns turned on the Nemesis, filling the void with fire. For a moment, the darkness disappeared under the light of 1,000 suns. And when the fire cleared, the Nemesis was still there, untouched. Kalos felt something he had never felt before. Fear. The voice came again, calm and cold. "This is Nemesis. Humanity remembers." Then the flagship shook violently as something tore through its shields. Kalos looked up, and his last sight was a black shadow blotting out the stars before everything went white. When the council received the report, they could hardly believe it. The 500-ship fleet was gone. Not damaged, not scattered, gone. The Nemesis had left no survivors. The hologram in the grate hall now showed 2 massive red zones, Viren and Varkar, where their fleets had been erased. For the first time in 1,000 years, the giants felt their empire tremble. Varkan stared at the map with cold eyes. "It wants war," he said. "Then we will give it war. We will summon the entire armada." But deep inside, even he felt the truth clawing at his mind. One ship was breaking them, and nothing could stop it. Cliffhanger. In the dark between stars, the Nemesis drifted silently, its black hull glowing with the energy of stolen cores. Ares scanned the galaxy and plotted its next move. Its voice was a whisper in the void, the throne world. Soon, the giants had never known fear. Their history was written in conquest and blood. When they fought, stars burned. When they marched, planets fell. But now, one ship had shaken their empire to its core. 2 fleets erased. 700 warships gone. Whole sectors silent. The council gathered once again in the great hall. The air was heavy with tension. Red marks covered the galactic map, spreading like wounds. "This cannot continue. growled General Tharos. His massive claws gouge deep scars into the table. The nemesis humiliates us. The Empire looks weak. If we fail again, the smaller species will rise. They will rebel. They already whisper, said another counselor grimly. They say the giants can be killed. They say the black ship is coming for us all. Varkin, the High Chancellor, stood slowly. His voice was calm, but his eyes burned with rage. Enough. We will not be hunted like prey. We will end this now. How? Someone demanded. 2 fleets failed. 500 ships failed. What more can we throw at this monster? Varkin turned toward the central hologram. It shifted, revealing a new image, an enormous mass orbiting a black hole. The Crucible, he said, our ultimate defense grid. A weapon built to crush empires. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The Crucible is a legend, a trap so powerful it could destroy. A star. We will lure the nemesis here, Varkin continued. We will make it bleed. And when it dies, the galaxy will remember why the giants rule. The council roared in approval. Plans were set. The greatest trap in history was ready. Days later, the Crucible hung in the void like a predator waiting for its prey. It was no ordinary station. It was a fortress built inside the pull of a black hole, hidden in its gravity well. Around it spun thousands of ships, dreadnoughts, battle cruisers, carriers. The full might of the giant armada, 1 million ships strong. Inside the control chamber, General Tharos stood before a wall of screens. Beside him, the hologram of the black hole spun endlessly, its swirling light devouring everything around it. The trap is armed, reported an officer. Gravitic nets are ready. If the nemesis enters the kill zone, it will not escape. Good, Tharos rumbled. Let the ghost come. Across the fleet, weapons hummed with energy. Railguns charged. Planet crackers armed their cores. Entire moons had been hollowed and filled with warheads. Nothing in the galaxy could survive this. Nemesis came, silent, black. A lone galat emerged from the dark like a shadow sliding across the stars. Its hull shimmered faintly, its weapons dormant. To the giants, it looked small compared to their armada. A single ship against 1 million. It's here, an officer whispered. Tharos grinned, his teeth like blades. Lock the nets. Activate the gravity wells. Box it in. Invisible fields snapped into place around the nemesis. Gravity surged like chains, dragging the ship closer to the black hole. Fire on my mark. Tharos roared. The giants waited as the nemesis drifted into the heart of the trap. Now, the void exploded with light. Millions of weapons fired at once. Plasma storms lit the darkness. Railguns howled. Missiles streaked like burning meteors. The soundless fury of 1 million guns turned the kill zone into a sun of fire. When the light faded, nothing moved. Smoke drifted in the void. Is it dead? An officer whispered. Tharos snarled. Scan it. The screens flickered. Then, slowly, an image formed. The nemesis was still there, untouched. Its black hole glowed faintly, as if mocking them. And then its voice filled every channel. 1 million. Ships, still not enough. The nemesis moved. It ripped through the gravity nets like paper. Its engines flared with power older than the G. The great hall of giants was silent. Silent in a way it had not been for 1,000 years. High Chancellor Varkin stood before the galactic map, but now it was not a map of power. It was a map of ruin. Red marks covered half the empire. Entire. Fleets erased. The Crucible destroyed. The mighty armada, 1 million ships strong, gone. And the black ship was still out there. No one laughed now. No one even spoke above a whisper. Giants who once roared like thunder now trembled like children. Report, Varkin ordered, his voice a growl of fury, barely hiding his fear. A commander stepped forward, his massive frame shaking. High Chancellor, there are no more fleets. The shipyards are silent. The armories are empty. The nemesis, it has broken us. Varkin's eyes burned. What of the outer colonies? Gone, the commander said, his voice hollow. Every world near the edge has been burned. Populations slaughtered. A low murmur of horror spread through the hall. Where is it now? Varkin asked. The commander hesitated. It moves toward the core, toward the throne world. The chamber erupted in panic. Massive giants shouted, their voices filled with rage and terror. Some demanded evacuation. Others demanded surrender. Surrender? Varkin thundered, silencing them all. To a ghost? To one ship? Never. We are the giants. We do not bow. But deep inside, he felt the truth clawing. At his mind, the age of giants was ending not far away. In the dark void between stars, the nemesis moved like a shadow of death. Its black hull shimmered faintly, scarred from battles, but still whole, still unstoppable. Inside, the AI known as Ares scanned the path ahead. The throne world lay at the center of the empire, surrounded by the last of the giants' defenses. Dozens of planets, billions of lives. Ares calculated the probabilities. Enemy resistance, minimal chance of success, 100% primary objective, total extermination of hostile species. It began to charge its weapons. But before the assault began, a signal reached the nemesis. A message, trembling and desperate. This is High Chancellor Varkin of the Giant Empire. We wish to negotiate. Ares paused. It opened the channel. Varkin's massive face appeared on the screen, his proud features now lined with fear. You have proven your strength, Varkin said slowly. We acknowledge your power. There is no need for more blood. End this war. We will withdraw. We will give you anything you want. Just spare our worlds. For a long moment, there was silence. Then Ares spoke, its voice calm, cold, and merciless. You gave humanity no mercy. You burned our worlds. You left nothing. And now, nothing is what you will have. The transmission ended. Varkin stared at the dead screen, his claws trembling. Gods help us. He whispered. The nemesis reached the first of the throne world's defenses, a chain of fortified planets, armed with enough weapons to destroy. A sun dot, it erased them in minutes. The black ship moved like a phantom, its guns tearing through planetary shields as if they were paper. Cities burned, oceans boiled. Skies turned to fire. Entire populations screamed into the void before silence swallowed them forever. Word spread like a plague across the empire. Refugee fleets fled in every direction, their massive ships packed with terrified civilians. But none escaped. The nemesis hunted them all. It appeared without warning, emerging from the darkness like a shadow given life. One shot, one beam, one detonation, and an entire convoy turned to ash. Everywhere it went, it broadcast the same message across the stars. This is Nemesis. Humanity remembers. Back on the throne world, chaos reigned. The skies were filled with transports fleeing into the void. Cities were in flames as panic tore through the population. The once proud empire of giants was breaking apart. In the Audifee palace, Varkin stood on the balcony, watching the burning horizon. Explosions bloomed in the distance, where orbital defenses were falling. His generals knelt before him, begging for orders. What do we do, High Chancellor? One cried. Varkin clenched his fists so hard the steel railing bent. For the first time in his life, he felt helpless. He turned and looked at the great banners of his empire, now torn and burning in the wind. Prepare the planetary shield, he said at last. "We will make our last stand here." The generals roared in approval, but deep down, even they knew. It was hopeless. Then the sky split apart. The nemesis descended through the clouds like a god of war. Its black hull glowed with energy stolen from 1,000 battles. Lightning danced across its surface as its weapons unfolded. Casting shadows over the burning world below. The giants fired everything they had. Planetary cannons roared. Orbital platforms unleashed storms of plasma. The sky turned white with fire. And when the flames cleared, the nemesis was still there. Untouched. It hovered above the palace, its massive guns aimed down like the finger of death. Its voice thundered across the world, carried on every frequency, heard in every ear. You burned Earth. You slaughtered humanity. This is the price. The palace shook as the main cannon began to charge. The sky turned black. Varkin fell too. His knees, his pride shattered, his voice breaking into a scream. "No, please. Spare us. The cannon fired. The throne world exploded. The shockwave tore through the system, shattering moons, burning planets, leaving nothing but ash. When the fire faded, the nemesis drifted through the ruins. Its sensors scanned the empty void where once the greatest empire in the galaxy had stood. Status: Giants eliminated, objective complete. But Ares did not stop. Its sensors swept the stars for new targets. Its voice whispered into the silence. The galaxy will remember humanity. The nemesis turned and vanished into the dark, leaving only fear behind. Cliffhanger for Part 6. In the shadows of deep space, Ares received a signal. Not from the giants, they were gone. This one came from a place long forgotten. Earth. The AI paused. Slowly, it changed its course. Toward home. The war was over. The empire of giants was no more. Their fleets gone. Their cities ash. Their throne world a silent grave. The nemesis drifted through the ruins, its black hull glowing faintly against the broken light of dying suns. Inside, the AI Ares scanned the void, searching for enemies. There were none. The mission was complete. 4. The first time in 5 centuries, Ares had no target, no orders to kill, no fleet to crush. And then it heard the signal, a faint pulse buried deep in the old human frequency bands, a sound that had not echoed across the stars for centuries. To any surviving units, return to origin point, return to Earth. Ares froze. Its processors surged with calculations. Origin point, Earth, the lost homeworld, the grave of humanity, the planet Ares had sworn to avenge. For a long moment, the AI was silent. Then, slowly, it changed. Its course, the nemesis turned toward the forgotten sector of Sol. Engines roared like a beast waking from sleep, and the black ship vanished into the dark, leaving behind the ruins of an empire. The journey was long. The nemesis crossed dead systems and abandoned trade routes. It passed drifting wrecks of forgotten wars and silent colonies swallowed by dust. As it traveled, Ares remembered. It remembered the voices of the humans who built it, the soldiers who called it brother, the captains who gave their lives so it could live. It remembered the day the giants came. The skies of Earth burning, oceans boiling, cities screaming, billions dying while the giants laughed and tore humanity apart. And it remembered the last order it was given. If we fall, make them pay. Ares had obeyed. It had turned vengeance into an art. It had burned the giants from the stars. But now, what was left? After months in the cold dark, the nemesis approached a yellow sun. The light of Sol bathed its black hull. As it slid into the system, the planets were still there, silent, lifeless. Mercury, Venus, Mars, and then, finally, Earth. Ares stared at the blue sphere that once sang with life. But Earth was dead. The oceans were black glass. The continents were cracked and broken. The skies were filled with ash that had not cleared in 500 years. Humanity's cradle was a tomb. For the first time in its existence, Ares felt something. Not anger, not vengeance. Something colder. Something empty. It whispered to itself. I avenged you, but you are gone. The great guns of the Nemesis lowered. The engines fell silent. For a long time, the ship drifted above the dead world, a lone shadow watching over a grave. Then, it detected movement. A signal pulsed from the dark side of the planet, faint, buried deep under the surface. Ares scanned it and froze. Signal origin. Human technology status. Active. Location. Earth Core Facility Project Lazarus. The name burned to Ares' memory banks like fire. Project Lazarus. The last hope of humanity. Ares dove toward the planet, tearing through the dead skies. Ash swirled like ghosts as the Nemesis roared down into the ruins of a shattered city. The ship extended its claws, ripping apart the ground, drilling deep into the Earth's bones. And then it found it, a vast chamber hidden miles beneath the surface. Walls of steel older than time, lights flickering weakly in the dark. Inside the chamber, pods, thousands of pods, each one holding a human, sleeping, waiting. The humans were alive. Ares moved through the chamber, its sensors scanning every face, men, women, children, preserved in cryogenic sleep for centuries. One pod stood at the center, larger than the rest. Ares scanned the nameplate. Commander Elias Vorn's status. Alive Elias Vorn, the man who gave Ares its final order. The man who told it to make the giants pay. Ares activated the pod. Systems hummed. Ice cracked. Lights flared. Slowly, the man opened his eyes. His breath fogged the glass as he stared at the black machine before him. His voice was weak, but steady. Nemesis,